A few media reports claim that White House plans to rush billions of dollars in security assistance to Ukraine before President Joe Biden leaves office in January, as Trump has been critical of Biden's assistance for Ukraine. Is it true, rushing billions of dollars to Ukraine before the transition?
Yeah, we've been quite open about that, that the money that was appropriated in the supplemental, that we intend to do everything in our power to get all of that deployed to Ukraine before the end of the year. I'm sorry, before the end of the term, excuse me. Yeah, go ahead. I'll come back to you. Go ahead.
Thank you, sir. My name is Bürger Meyer, and thank you for having my question. I want to ask about the collapsing German government that we see in the last days. Can you make any remarks about that implications that may have on the U.S. and on U.S. foreign policy? And also let me join the gentleman to thank you for the cooperation with foreign policy.
Thank you. That's nice of you. So Germany, of course, is a valued NATO ally and an indispensable partner of the United States. We have full confidence in the strength of Germany's democratic process and will continue to work with Germany on our shared priorities. Go ahead. I'll come to you next.
Excuse me, Matt. The Knesset just has passed a final law to expel the families of Palestinians who carry out attacks against Israel, and this law is aiming to imprison children as young as 14. Do you support these measures, which some activists and legal experts consider it as a collective punishment?
Let me take the question back. Only I saw just before I came in here that Israel had passed the law, but I want to look into it more. I want to look into it a little deeper before I get you a full answer.
Okay. The second question is do Palestinians have right to full sovereignty in making their own decision without interference from you or Israel? For instance, if they choose any group you and Israel doesn't like to rule their lands and something like that, are you going to impose any sanction on them or not? Because you don't impose any sanction on Israel when they don't follow your decision, or they don't apply your ideas or something like that.
So I'm not.
Do Palestinians, they have the same right?
I'm not. So I'm not sure what you mean by choosing a group to rule their own land. I would say that let me just say we absolutely support the Palestinian people's right to self-determination, to fulfill their legitimate aspirations, and that's why it has been the policy of the United States, and is one that we have actively pursued to try to establish an independent Palestinian state. And we continue to believe that is in the best interest of the Palestinian people and also in the interests of the government of Israel. And that is what we are pursuing.
For concrete example, Palestinians in 2006, they chose Hamas to rule Gaza in this time. So it means.
And we see how that has worked out for everyone in the region, quite terribly.
Yeah. This is Palestinian decision. I'm Egyptian, not Palestine.
Right.
But I'm just saying it's a Palestinian issue. We see China hosting them for negotiation. So it means Palestinians themselves still recognize Hamas as a part of Palestinians, and they go China, go Russia, go Global South, and it seems complicated. How you say look at this complicated choosing people, because at the end of the day, all of them are Palestinian.
So we reject a terrorist organization controlling any government anywhere in the world. The bottom line policy of the United States, something that we reject, something that we do not support. And we believe that most Palestinians don't want to see a terrorist organization govern the Palestinian people. If you look at the results of a terrorist organization governing Hamas, it has been a war that has wreaked widespread destruction on Gaza and led to the death of more than 40,000 Palestinians. So now, or I said, well, no, I'll just say, but what we want to see is a pathway to two states, state of Israel and an independent Palestinian state. And that's what we're going to continue to try to pursue. There's just no other way to put it than that. Go ahead.
Thank you, sir. A few questions. Number one, today was actually Yoav Gallant's final day as defense minister. It's just a quirk of Israeli law. He held a farewell call with Secretary Austin today. Considering he's one of the addressees on that 30-day letter, did Secretary Blinken hold any last-minute call with Minister Gallant?
He hasn't talked to him today. Obviously, he's talked to him a number of times, both in person and over the phone. Talked to him as recently as Monday. We saw Yoav Gallant as a valuable partner that we have worked with on a number of issues. And we will continue to work with his replacement as the defense minister. Ultimately, the letter was addressed to him in his capacity as defense minister, not his personal capacity, so the function will carry over to his replacement.
In terms of the talks that are ongoing up until, I would presume, January 20th on potential hostage and ceasefire deal, President Trump has famously not wanted his political rivals to get any kind of wins, as he called it, or usurp any achievements that he may have. Is there any concern Egypt, Qatar, based on their reliance on the next administration, may lessen their cooperation here down the home stretch with the U.S.?
I cannot speak for any other government or what they will do or what they might not do. I would just point out that an end to the war in Gaza is not a win for Joe Biden. An end to the war in Gaza is a win for the region. And ultimately, it is a win for the Israeli and Palestinian people. And I think everyone in the region understands that this is a war we want to bring to an end as soon as possible. And no one should be waiting for 74 days and letting this suffering go on any longer than it should have if there's a path to bringing it to an end before then.
Last question for you. President Obama famously in his final days approved an abstention at the UN Security Council on a key vote involving Israel. Most analysts say it's as a result of personal animosity between Obama and then Prime Minister Netanyahu. Are there any promises, any guarantees about these final days at the UN and whether President Biden will continue to support Israel as he has?
So you should not read this into this answer I'm about to give anything. You shouldn't read it in one way or the other. I cannot speculate on how we will vote on resolutions that are not yet even before the Security Council. Obviously, we will look at any resolution that comes up before the Security Council and make our judgments based on the interests of the United States, as we always do.